a very good morning to you. Welcome to the news review, where we give you nothing but the best of news and we leave you also entertained. Joining me in studio is Albert. Good morning.
Good morning,
Eugene,
Jackie.
good morning.
You were told yesterday how to start. You start
You start with Eugene,
then you go
but
to.
it's so polite.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
but-
She's so.
Good morning. Did I do it well?
Yeah.
Good morning.
You've tried.
But there is a lion
Right.
coming in that is gonna be roaring the good morning.
Yes.
And there he is.
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
The champ is here. God damn it, the champ is here.
Yes.
We are still waiting for the good morning.
Good morning.
You see? Roaring. There's someone in Seoul who is following right now. Just stay tuned
Yes.
because we might be talking about you.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Or we might be talking about ourselves also. So. Either way.
So
They
this
just
is
want to
the
be popular.
this
Yeah.
is the new
It's all about popularity. That's why you're getting us in these early morning shows just for your popularity.
So this is the news review. We've changed the show a bit, so we'll be just discussing news from the beginning to the end, and we'll be giving you some of the briefs that are coming through on the breaking news and any other story that we might see. So to start us off, let's have a review of what we did in our own news to make it more popular. We have the Rwanda Correctional Service. They had a meeting yesterday, and apparently close to 2,000 prisoners have escaped Rwandan prison since 2005.
I thought it was while they were in the meeting. These prisoners were busy escaping.
Hey, I had to say no. I say while these guys at the meeting, while Joe was away. So that is 2,000.
Since 2005, close to
How many?
2,000 prisoners.
But did they escape and never found back? Or
Yeah, they have not been found.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, and we only hear this now, 2014.
I think they used to report either to someone about these escapes, but then as data collection has been done throughout this period, then now they came up with the figures
So
to do a
now
total.
they have digital prisons.
Now they have the yeah. What's interesting is even how these escapes are being done.
Shit, why you put some stuff on your ears?
Just to make sure that you all can hear me.
Maybe
I want to be popular.
Yeah, deaf. Yeah. So I mean, it's quite. I don't know if to say interesting, but even the way these breaks are being done, it just begs for more information to understand how even they're being done and
Did they give any details about that?
No, you don't know.
What? So
There are no details. They just say close to 2,000 prisoners have escaped.
fine, but didn't you
Okay.
ask anything? Did
They
we
did,
ask
because
anything?
we should
no
know.
journalists asked anything?
I like when you bring that aspect up, because most of us usually go for press conferences just to be given the info and not to ask for anything else.
So it's not a press conference. It's a press release.
Yes, and even if we get
Because
that
they need
opportunity,
approval eventually.
but even at
Yes.
times,
Yes.
today I will be on the side of the officials who call for press conferences for a bit, and challenge my fellow colleagues in journalism, that when we go to press conference, most of the time we restrict or refrain ourselves from even asking other questions that even may be outside of that particular topic of the day, but involving the same officials who are there. Yesterday we had the health minister. They did a press conference yesterday, but it was not majorly about Ebola. It was about there's a team of surgeons and doctors who are here to help with the operations of the cleft lips.
Which one?
And to
Cleft
correct
lip.
the smiles
Is that the
of
upper
those
or
who,
the
those to
lower
correct
ones?
to correct the ones
upper.
who don't have a proper smile in quotes. So you find a journalist goes there and is like, will I also ask about Ebola? Then you say, okay, fine, yeah, you can ask for any particular problem, but that's not the topic of the press conference. So if you find a journalist who's already
No, but who
censoring
says
themselves,
that is not the topic?
you hear it from the journalists themselves.
No, you mean the journalist says that is not
Yeah,
the topic?
that is not in the topic of the invitation that we've been invited for. Yeah.
So
So it's
maybe
Okay, but that's
I know some of our guys need a little bit more training,
Yeah.
or I don't know what, or they just need to watch how it happens elsewhere. You see it happen. You see presidents in visits in other countries.
when the State
then
Department
a scandal happens, and somehow they talk about that scandal, even though that's not what the conference was about.
I always see like the State Department in the U.S. You always have 2 or 3 journalists. Whatever this guy is coming to talk about, the guy from the State Department, those 2 or 3 journalists always have to ask about Rwanda and Congo. Always. And then you have certainly the USA of America, this is their stand on this, which is just an improvisation of the guy there, because you have those 2 guys always, whatever the topic is, it's about Bin Laden, but they will ask you about Rwanda and Congo. The next day you will see it, blah, 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 blah. But our guys here are too shy to even extend.
the reason to
It's beyond me. And now I watch one of these days, or I'm sure you have been watching, when the president now of the Republic is having a press conference. When they are there, you wonder, are they asking questions, or are they just reporting to him? They're just telling on other people. Oh, well, while you were not paying attention, there was someone who was waving an old Rwandan flag. What should we do? And you wonder, okay, really? You have this great opportunity to ask about the business of running the country, and this is what you're going to ask?
But some of these guys there are on a mission. You know, that's where they got the payroll. They're on the payroll of someone. You know, when they get there, they make sure that they ask a particular question, and you wonder why you asking that.
It's often not even a question. It's just they're telling on someone. They're just trying to get someone in trouble.
I think let's come back to the topic, because you're going a little bit out.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the Rwandan prisons. What do you think needs to be done? Because they only said we are going to add prison wardens to stop the prison breakouts.
No, but when you say it like that, the question that I have here, and maybe I guess also the audience, are we dealing with a major problem here, or 2000 over how many years is more or less something acceptable? What has been the impact on the society? Are we there? Is there threats? What is it?
Well, it shouldn't be acceptable that people are able to escape to that rate. I would think it's high, even if it said that it's from 2005 and it's 2013 and how many? It's a lot. But then again, to know what to give to how to answer your question, we would need to know more. Who are these people? What, are they minor offenses? Or because sometimes those guys who are not big criminals, they're taken out. Sometimes they go to court. Sometimes you see the warden is not really even paying attention because they know this one has a small offense. It maybe didn't pay his fine. Few months to serve, so he goes, whatever. It's less money to have to feed him. So we don't know. We would need to know those details.
There is a lack of, but I mean, even in what you are reporting or whoever is reporting, the problem is there is not enough you didn't report enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't get enough out of that story.
If they escaped from outside, or they could have escaped, because it's worrisome to me if they can jump from inside, if there's a fence or if there's a wall that's short enough for them just to walk over there and then jump and then skedaddle out of there. So that would be a problem. But so we would need definitely more information to be able to comment.
So to be continued?
Yes, to be continued.
But good for you anyways. If you could make a break, don't kill anyone.
Before we take the break, let's have the other story on the conflict in the Rusizi-Bukavu border posts. Rwanda has been complaining that DRC is still asking for visa charges from Rwandan nationals who cross there on a daily basis. They held a meeting last week, the CEPGL countries, and they actually waived the visa charges. So we were asking the mayor of Rusizi, is there a conflict? And he's like, there's no conflict. It's not political. People should not politicize the issue. What do you think? As
The problem that here coming from a public servant as the mayor telling us that it is not political, what else can it be than political? I mean, maybe he doesn't understand the word political, but
and
that is of course political.
And you know, when people say political, probably the understanding, as you say, is different with many people. Some feel when something is political, it's a negative issue or it's a negative thing. And yet,
but let it be negative. That is not the point. The point is that if somebody decides that there is suddenly the introduction of visa without any understanding or agreement between the two countries, of course this is a political act. You know, of course it's a political act. So you. The mayor should understand that he needs to report it as a political act,
a political issue. But still remaining with that issue in terms of economic benefits from that integration process in that particular region, the Sepegel region. When you have such things happening, then it beats the logic of even having that kind of an integration of that particular group when you have others asking others to pay for certain things that probably had agreed that should not be done, then it beats the logic. It's like when in the East African community you decide that we want to have our citizens move freely, but then you have one particular country that imposes certain fines or charges on others, and then it hinders the whole process of integration.
Exactly.
So I think whatever is happening there are people who are suffering in terms of those who are doing business and even those who want just to go there for...
The whole community suffers. So even the one who does it, or who just, let's say it's not, I'm assuming that maybe the mayor means that a political thing on a national level. Maybe, I'm assuming because I don't know. Even so, even if it is political on a regional level, or just someone there in the Kivu who decides to, let me just on a whim impose this thing, it has to be understood that it's that whole organization that suffers. Yeah. And speaking of not being political, that reminds me of a story. There was a lady, a first lady of one of these African countries, maybe, I don't know, I'm not even going to name it, but she was asked by journalists a question, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm apolitical." So you're the first lady of a country. There's no one more political than you. Whatever you will do. The first daughter went to the White House. People made it a political affair, so you can't escape it.
She was not happy about that. She actually even
she has to deal with it because she's the first daughter. Yes, that's true.
Of course, but especially when now you come in a certain framework, you can't be apolitical at that time. At that moment,
exactly.
No, but she was. I think it was more because people made it. Her reaction was more about the people's reaction, not the fact that
people saw it as a calculated thing, more than just a father taking his daughter to somewhere that's interesting to. Hell, I would do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're political.
We are still with the news review with Albert, Eugene, and Lion. Time now to get into the newspapers. On the New Times, we have a story on. More calls to weed out FDLR militia, and the court remands genocide suspect Mbarushimana. This case of Mbarushimana has been there for some time now, and different twists taking place in the court. What's your take on the whole issue of Mbarushimana?
You're looking at Lion right now.
Maybe he's talking to you.
I like how your bounces ball back and forth. Just say that you were not following like I did. I haven't been following this.
Why? How come?
These cases go... let me tell you yet another story. When I used to live abroad in Canada, we used to follow the case of one Leon Mugesera. It took us months and months and years. Now the guy is here. Same story all over again. So really, I have better fishes to fry. Yeah, but keep him there. Yes, I don't mind.
Keep him frying.
Yeah.
I think you're speaking for many people.
So what's your take on that? What's your take on that?
I was reading some of these dailies, and Mbarushimana seems to be stubborn. Like when he's asked to say something, he remains quiet. He says the court is mistreating him. Everyone is seated and he's remaining standing. So I was like, this guy really, is he for real?
He's not. They come from the same school. I'm telling you, Mujesera used to do the same thing to us. He will drive you crazy. He knows he has nothing to lose. He probably knows what he did. I don't want to accuse him. He's innocent until proven guilty. But yeah. so I said, let me just waste their time. They got me here by force. Let me show them who I am. So, but it's part of the process. But for you to follow it, at some point it gets tiring because even any other court case, you go to a tribunal, it's very boring. I wonder why people go for that job. But kudos to them.
Even for that guy Pastorius or whatever his name is.
Oscar.
I mean, after all of this time, anyway.
Yeah, even DSTV had to create a channel.
But
just dedicated for the court proceeding.
I spent too many months of my life watching the OJ trial. I'm not trying to watch any other trial, really.
That was the last one.
But I understand it. By the way, even though I say that, they need to be thorough. That is understandable to be sure that at least justice has been served. It shouldn't be swift. It should really need to be thorough. But not my cup of tea, really.
Yeah. Ebola outbreak, Kenya at high risk, warns World Health Organization.
Why?
Why is
They're
that?
saying because Kenya was a major transport hub with many flights from West Africa, and so it has been put at the list on the list of one of the most high risk areas for Ebola outbreak.
So, but I also read yesterday that Kenya Airways was today. I think they will come out on how they're going to be flying to West Africa.
It had to take members of parliament to go to parliament to try to call for this particular action to be done. And so when you see...
That means that they're going to be even more late in their flights than they usually are. You know?
You would expect that.
They should try the same way the British are now giving aid to those Iraqi people who are stranded in the mountains. They should just drop them from the sky. Don't land. Don't land. Just drop people from the sky. And their luggage too. Don't forget that.
Or they come back for the 48 hours. You didn't get your luggage. Now, coming back
still in the air.
on the FDLR, because there was a first story also on IGH. Yesterday was that the ICGLR defense ministers were meeting in Angola. These meetings in Angola, it's a bit funny because now everyone is again that they should start taking arms against the FDLR. I mean, and this is supposed to do a follow-up on the March meeting of the heads of states. So now the heads of state are meeting again. But in between, we had in July the ministers of foreign affairs who met, and they gave the FDLR an extra 6 months when TZ Tanzania was advocating for 1 year. You know, so they all agreed on 6 months. But now they're back. Defense minister, and they say no, we start immediately. So there is a kind of a confusion. What is going on in FDLR, Congo, and all that. And but interesting enough is that these reactions are coming after the U.S. Africa summit, where the U.S. came out to say, hell no, you know, FDLR now. You see, so it looks like it's the usual way. The US says something that everybody else, but especially the Western countries, especially the EU, the UN now, and apparently the African countries now are back on board.
Yeah, when the US sneezes, they say the rest of the world catches.
They say chira chira, chira. Tiango bavuga gusk. Okay.
In another story here in Rwanda, there has been this debate of the Gicumbi shooting, and some pictures were posted on social media about the lady. And
we had our talk in the Kinyarwanda version of this honorable session so here. We said it that some of our colleagues were just cuckoo.
Don't blame the victim. Basically.
Don't blame the victim. You know, it was the victim was the victim, and some of our colleagues made her. They made her
the villain. Basically, it's interesting to see. No one knows the name of the shooter. No one knows what he looks like. Everybody knows what the lady looks like, and every time, in death, and when they post her picture, it always comes with a caption that says, "Here is the person from whom the trouble came or began." It's outrageous. It's
and
it
it's a
should be-
typical thing also on women. It's like when women are being raped, then it's her mistake. Look at the way she was dressed, blah blah blah, things like that. You know, it's a bit classic.
But
So that brings us to the issue of even the media self-regulation. Then what is done?
Okay, thank you, thank you, Gene.
Yeah.
By the way, the self-regulating body.
Yeah.
Where are you guys?
When something like
I
this
mean,
happens?
like 3 days now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no
They're
comments from their
regulating
side.
themselves.
Yeah.
No, but come on. I mean, from their side, nobody
Nobody has
comments?
said anything about how outrageous
Why don't you
that
get the
was.
one-on-one on the self-regulating body?
Are we gonna have all the media in India?
No, the self-regulating body.
Okay.
At least these guys. I say, guys, okay, then what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's something like that. I mean, why is it that we bring it out in a news session?
Yeah.
And you
Or they are not connected. They have not seen those pictures, or they have not seen those.
then whether they are
No,
regulating.
they're seeing them, but it begs for
No.
another question as well, because some of the people who made the most noise are not technically amongst the fraternity. They're not really journalists. They're just people who have open pages
bloggers.
on So basically, but there should be some sort of debate on how do you deal with these guys, because they are taken as journalists and what they do impacts us, and then in some cases, some of the actual journalists take from the stories of those guys, like we were talking about yesterday, where there was this dîner en blanc, and Miss Rwanda was there, and she was wearing something that resembled a wedding gown. And then someone just went and posted a story saying that she secretly got married. And now on another website, they went on to refute that story, saying, no, it is not true. But say, you see, so even though we say these guys are not journalists, it finds its way into journalism. So they really need to be dealt with.
Talking of bloggers, Eugene hosted one of the bloggers on one-on-one yesterday. I don't know if you followed the story. They were talking about the blogger was complaining that how can you take the dinner in white to some village?
The
and
problem
then
is that
you
the
push
blogger
away.
doesn't even understand. You know, he went there for an experience, and you can understand that he doesn't understand what he was doing himself. He didn't get the concept. You know, it's like you talking. Let's say I was tweeting and showing and to compare with in Brazil.
Yeah.
In Brazil, people will a whole year save money, put aside
For the carnival.
for their costume
Yes.
that they're gonna be wearing during that, and it's a thing that they share with more people than 585 who were doing the dîner en blanc. Dîner en blanc is a concept. You go there, you think about it. The people who did it, it's like the same kind of stuff. I mean, you don't come there as Eugene Anang with the usual way, the way you dress and all that. You get into a concept. It's like the Brazilian carnival. Nobody I mean, of course, during the days of carnival, everybody is in that spirit, you know, and of course, all the people, if you look from the outside, you would think these guys are crazy. They are mad. Look at how they are dressed, how they walk like that, how they move like that. Now, of course, that is why the dîner en blanc, you go there in a bus, because you all get into the concepts. You're inside the concept. You move around the concept. But it's not a segregation. It's not we here and you there. It's just you are in there. But this guy never got into the concept. That is why he kept looking outside. On another side, the flip side of it is that, of course, eventually the organizers, the people who organized the thing, could have, I don't know. I didn't go where it was. But from his description, it is in the poorest place of Rwanda that these guys went. But in Kigali, the poorest place of Rwanda, that guys are just starving there outside while these guys are. And I think
drinking.
this was just an exaggeration. The guy, I don't know. It's a bit too much.
Yeah, I think there's some people who like to be drama queens. When he goes to his local bar to have a brochette, is he thinking of the poor? When he goes to have a beer, is he thinking of the poor? I think people should stop trying to make people feel guilty for doing well for yourself. Because even the poor wants to stop being poor. So let's not pretend. Let's not pretend if you have worked for your money, what you do to enjoy your life one night in a whole year is nobody else's business but your own. It should not be that every time you organize something, or there should be proceeds that go to these people, or let's do it in hiding so these poor people don't see us having fun. No, that's ridiculous, really.
So time is up.
Just one little thing that is, when you read.
It's never enough for you.
It's never enough. But when you see the international, there's something on the WashingtonPost.com, a blog of a certain lady that pretends she's blah 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 whatever.
Something about does Rwanda's prosperity
yes justify. And it's so typical cheap again. I mean people in Washington seems to be to know more Rwanda than Rwanda themselves.
But still, when you have such kind of posts, it's a good thing because it sparks the debate. It sparks that kind of discussion that you want to have now.
No, I wish we could have a real debate, but we don't have a debate with these people. These people don't come and debate. If you try to invite her for a crossfire, get her online, no. Because that's most of the time.
Isn't it in some way, since there is freedom of the press, isn't it her right to write her opinion
up to you
on what
now?
she says?
I have no problem with that. But what I say, it's my reading is it always has somewhere a racial filter, because it's in Africa, don't believe if there is progress, if people are, that's never enough. Like what Rwanda has been doing in this last 20 years, if you can compare to any other country, show me any comparison, even in Europe, even in the West, and then you come and you say, but all of that, whatever progress Rwanda has done, it's zero compared where they should be. And it's their point of view.
But is it what she said? Because my feeling was she's talking about all that progress and all the merit and the contribution of women. Says, but on the flip side, on the political side, maybe there has been some disappearances of people. There have been some killings. So there have been some questionable things. So should we ignore these things just because Rwanda is doing well? So that was my
We'll try and get in touch with her. We'll try and get in touch
okay,
with
good.
her.
On that note, we end the news review. Coming up shortly is One-on-One. Do stay with Contact FM.
Oh, the controversial one, the drama queen.
You're not supposed to talk after the boss says.
The drama queen.